Even bowlersmart.com, trusted by bowlers around the world since 2004. By Lightning Strikes Bowl, home of Bowlers Mart Pro Shop. By Platinum Ford, drive the difference. By Fire Lake Bowling Center, 24 state-of-the-art lanes. By True Grit Coatings, drive on our passion. By Rowe to Grip, king of them all. By 900 Global, striking worldwide.
Good morning and welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy show. Beef is out and about making an airport run. So we've upgraded things around here a little bit, and we brought in the Canadian sensation. And gosh, this is 5 titles, 3 majors. You almost have as many 300s on TV as most people have TV shows. Period. So. Francois Lavoie, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, no problem. How you doing?
Good. We'll wait a little bit as people come straggling in this morning. Maybe I left my phone somewhere else, so I haven't not shared it out yet. So there you go. Hype solid. Good. Yeah, let's talk about that. You shot a 300 in the U.S. Open telecast. At the time, I think you were the second person to officially shoot 300 on TV twice.
I think so, officially, yeah.
Yeah. And then Chris Vai's done it since then.
Yeah.
I guess the bigger surprise almost that Belmonte hasn't done it since he's made seemingly a million shows, and maybe even Walter Ray before that.
Yeah, hasn't he? I thought he had. No. Was the 300 of the playoffs his first one, or the tour finals his first one?
It could have been, actually. I mean, he might have by now. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not good at keeping track of all that.
It's not my superpower, and Wikipedia is what it is. But at the moment, it's actually a little better than our stats on the tour. So they're catching up. They're finally got some historical stuff up there now, but it's still not always the easiest to find. But nonetheless, it's a pretty incredible record. You've only been on tour since 2015, right? Does that sound right?
16. Yeah, I graduated in December 15, so January of 16 is when I joined.
That's a pretty meteoric rise. Your first year on tour, didn't you win the U.S. Open and win twice in your opening season? Yeah, that's a pretty good start.
Yeah. Not
everybody has that beginning. Like literally.
Oh, yeah, it's funny. Looking back on that, it's funny because one of my goals was to be Rookie of the Year. And in February, 2 months into the season, Graham wins the Players' Championship when they just made it into a major. And so we're both rookies at the time. And I thought, well, I guess there goes that. That's going to be pretty hard to beat. And
you got to make it as a rookie.
Yeah, there goes that goal. And so I guess the end of the year was good for me, and it sucks for Graham to win a major and not win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, of course, everyone knows they're talking about you, not me here. So there was a question here. 225 league bowlers, but this year we're really finding lanes. Middle is dry with hook spots and the outside has hang spots. Any suggestions? Well, fortunately for you, we have one of the best, as Stu hates to coin the term, but one of the best shot makers on tour with us today to help us out with these questions.
Yeah, I don't know. League is tough for me. I'm not sure what I would do in that situation. Maybe hard and straight.
Yeah, generally, I guess. I mean,
create a little less shape.
You have 2 options, and basically is to make that middle dry your right, which is to move very deep, or you have to shut your angles down and take away the hang to the right. And I'm guessing you're probably not going to average 225 on that if that's your look.
Yeah. Either way, I think whatever you're comfortable with, I think either way you got to play one or the other. You're just understanding that you're not going to have both like you normally would on a house shot. You're not going to have hook right and hold left. So just choose one and play what's most comfortable.
Well, with one small adjustment there is just throw urethane. When all else fails, just throw urethane.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Seems to be the go-to now. What is that? I thought Sue pointed out Frankie is welcome at the Barnes estate. Yeah. Always. Yeah.
Always welcome.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't see the show, but Stu made mention of my wife is big fans of both you and Dom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably more than me. And whatever inferences our esteemed audience made from there, you can imagine. So
yeah.
Yeah. For those who don't know, that's PBA 50 Don Knowlton. Him and his 1989 Purple Hammer that we call Dusty because it's so gray that we don't even know what color it actually started out as. Yeah. He's not afraid to throw that 80 grit beast out there. So,
we love you too, Linda.
Yeah. Mark's a regular contributor here. He's so humid last night you cannot slide. What is the best way to adjust your footwork? Sorry. Your foot simply can't be your best. I assume you're talking. I mean, the easiest way is actually soles, and the biggest difference between when I was in college and when Frankie was in college is there was adjustable soles. So, a place like the Union at Wichita is really slick and a little downhill. And at the time, Lin's were really the only real shoe that was available, and obviously they weren't adjustable. So stopping was a trick. I mean, you had damp towels, you had lick your heels. We had all kinds of things that you had to kind of do. Now you can just switch to a 2 sole, and like in this case, and it can be really tough when they get really humid. We ran into some that are probably the tackiest I've seen maybe ever around the world this summer. But a 10 sole will slide on almost everything.
Yeah, I think up until last year, I didn't even know that they went that high. I thought 8 was the highest, and we went somewhere. I can't remember where it was. It was a tour stop, but they were really tacky. I think the weather had something to do with it.
Yeah,
and yeah, a couple guys said. I think a couple guys had overnighted some 10 soles or something. And is there a 12 even? There might be a 12.
There is a 12. They actually ran out of them there. At the place we were at. Obviously, they knew there was an issue because there was 12s that were in the pro shop and not just one.
Yeah.
But they ran them before I could get to them. I have 10s and I cut mine in half and I use it on the front, but I never use it on the back. And I used it on the back and was willing to try more.
Wow.
It rained. It was just a mess. And on top of it's just a place that has a lot of humidity in the floor.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't use Easy Slide on your foot.
No, that'll put everybody down.
Yeah.
Not Francois.
Not Francis.
Not Francis.
Yeah.
Francis. Alan Riley says, I have that same trophy that's behind Frankie's head on the right. He wants to know if you got yours from Dave and Buster's too. It took him like 3 million tickets.
Yeah. No, that's not where. I can't remember where I got mine. I think that one was. I think that one was Vegas, and then the other one was North Carolina. I think.
little soft flux there. Go back to David for a minute longer to catch up, Big Al. This is something we don't ever talk about on this show. Hockey.
Yeah.
Ready. So how's your team looking? The Canadiens take a stab at?
Yeah, the Canadiens. I don't think so. No, we're in rebuild mode. Last year was our worst since I've been alive, I think. So complete rebuild mode. Our goalie, who is the best player on the team, is not going to play this season again. He's been down with injuries and substance abuse protocol. I think he's had injuries, so he probably got addicted to pain pills and stuff like that. So he's been away for over a year, and they said it's not looking good, and so he might not play this year again. So full rebuild mode. Give it a couple more years.
Yeah, I listen to talk radio, so I hear about the Stars a little bit, and they say to tamper down your expectations. That's all I really know. Mark says he had adjustable soles, but I don't think 10s come with them. Typically 8s are all they are, that vanilla colored one. You have to get the gray or black fall on your butt. So when they get like that, and a lot of people don't carry them. I carry them all year long. I only use them 2 or 3 times a year, but when you do, if you don't have them, you literally can't bowl. It's like bowling on a really dry lane, and a phase 2 is your dry lane ball.
Yeah,
it's not going to work out that good.
Yeah.
No, North Carolina is about 16 hours for me, and it's a regional, and so I assume that puts in the 2,500 for first place. Right now, that would be about gas cost to get there, I think. So. We're going to get into it today, I guess. Okay, pin up, pin down. Or Norm, say pin down hooks earlier on the lane, pin up later down the lane. Is it really that easy? You want to take a stab? You can say no.
Yeah, I'll let you go for it, and if you say something wrong, I'll chime in. How's that?
Okay, good. In layman's terms, yes, it actually is almost that easy. Pin down flares less, which puts you closer to the friction and will tend to hook a little sooner and be smoother. Pin up actually flares more, allows you to be a little further left before the ball gets to a preferred spin axis and starts going forward. And so from appearances, it goes longer and then hooks a little harder. That's what it looks like in layman's terms. The reality is actually pin down hooks a little less, but it's smoother. And pin up hooks a little more and is longer. That's my take on that. But in essence, he's right. And that's pretty much how we use them. That's just the technical thing behind it. So slide sock is like a 14, but Teflon pads. I don't know if he means that on the SS Minnow, the giant coach that's his motorhome, or if he meant on a sole. But love seeing the eagle sitting by your shoulder. An easy slide is a team killer. Yeah, literally, you put your whole town. A beef should be on his way back from the airport soon, but we don't really care. It's okay. A question for both Frankie and Barnzy. Have you heard that Jimmy Allen is going to try his luck on the PBA Tour next year? I don't believe he's trying the PBA Tour.
I think he said he was going to try. I think I read the press release about the tournament that they're having. So they're having a TV show with a couple of guys and a couple of celebrities, and in that press release, I thought I read the same thing. I thought he's going to try a couple of tournaments, maybe some PTQs or maybe bowl some of the open tournaments.
Well, good for him. I didn't know that. I haven't seen him bowl before, so
I never have either.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I know there's an event coming up soon that he's joined by. Oh, I should know this, but I don't. Sean's on that in part of it.
Sean, I think Ronnie, AJ,
Troop. Yeah, guys from in that kind of general region a little bit, but yeah, it should be good. It's nice to have somebody involved. The Chris Paul event couldn't really happen this year because of one, his moving around, and then injuries have stopped him from being able to put it together this season. So looking forward to it. Love, no. I like this one though. Yeah, he just got Brady'd. Referring to the Eagles and the number of them.
Yeah.
So, go Red Wings, go Bolts. My grandson would like to have a pair of your red, white, and blue shoes. Those were custom. A military friend of mine painted those, and so that's just a stock pair of 3G shoes that he painted for me and did a great job. I try not to wear them a lot because they are painted and they get beat up. But yeah, he did a fantastic job. If there was testing on the PBA, if not, who would? I assume you mean that must be back to your substance abuse.
I think that I read that as drug testing. Yeah. I think some would pass.
We'd still have a tournament. That's all you're committing to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any idea. That's not my area of expertise. So, bowling at Earl Anthony starting the Sunday at PSB at Plano Super Bowl. Earl Anthony that's like a 42 or 43 foot pattern, I believe. You're going to be off the gutter a little bit. At Plano, you're going to be anyway. But once you get over 41, 42, the track comes into play on the right. And the left, you're just going to be in 7, 8, probably. Somewhat straighter angles and then moving in. Wow. I don't. Maurice Richard and Guy LaFleur.
Yeah, a little before my time.
Yeah. Yeah, literally the rest of this crowd doesn't even know who those two guys are. So
yeah, two legends of the Montreal Canadiens. They've got some statues outside the arena there.
Well, as a former All-American, a team champion in that event as well, what do you have an advice for college bowlers looking to be more competitive?
Just bowl more tournaments, I think. I think you'd probably say the same thing for Ryan. Anybody that's trying to learn, anybody that's trying to get better, you got to practice, of course. But it's one thing to do it in practice, and another thing to do it in competition. You've got to be able to recognize what you need to do at what time and how to match up your ball and your angles and all that stuff. And the only way to do that is to bowl tournaments. So there's really no shortcut around it. We joke that Ryan hasn't been bowling for a while, but he's bowled a lot in that 2 years or so that he's been bowling. So that's how you do it. There's no substitute for that. You just have to bowl a lot, and that's how you learn. Trial and error. One tournament will not go so well, and just look back on it and say, what did I do wrong, and what did the people that won do right, and try to do better next time.
Yeah, absolutely. For experience.
And anytime you get the chance to bowl, just go do it.
And environment's a huge deal, that's one of the huge advantages of Wichita is you can go out there and practice, and you see yourself, and you see Packy, and you see Justin Hromek and Mark Jensen. You have Team USA, Eagle winners, major champions every day practicing. In an environment where there's always someone. I thought that the best bowler in a lot of college programs is the best bowler in that city, and in Wichita, I don't think the best bowler in the university has ever been the best bowler in the city.
Yeah,
there's both guys there that you can learn from and that do something better than you one way or the other that you can pick up from.
Yeah, if you've got some just friendly competition too, you can make a competition while you're practicing. If you're practicing with a buddy, just bowl against each other. Bowl a game for $5. It doesn't have to be anything you're comfortable with, or even bowl for 10 push-ups. Do whatever it is. Just make some fun competitions out of it.
I think that's one of the things that Spencer and Ryan do they do it weekly at least, because they basically bowl head-to-head matches down in the rec on the dirt all of the time, and just keep banging banging heads and just competing, and putting yourself in situations where it matters.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool thing. And there's enough guys around that no matter how good you are, there's somebody that can keep up.
Yeah.
Linda wants to know, if you weren't a bowler, what would you have done? What was your degree? And any George Lambert stories are welcome.
Nice. It's funny. The Storm Youth Championships were in Wichita 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we had a Q&A with the kids. So the kids were in the settee area, and I was up on the approach with the mic, and that was one of the questions that came up. If I wasn't a bowler, what would I have done? And I don't know. My degree was in business administration, but that's because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And my mom was an accountant back home at a Volkswagen dealership, so that's kind of what I knew. I feel like I didn't really get high schools in general. I think maybe don't do a great job at counseling, so I didn't know what all the options were and stuff. If I had to do it again, I'd probably go into some sort of engineering, but I didn't really know what engineering was at 17, so I didn't pick that as a major. Either that or I like architecture, so maybe an architect.
Nice.
George Lambert story, man. George is one of the main reasons I'm here in Wichita. When I used to watch bowling on TV all the time, wanted to be a pro bowler, and then eventually found out that a couple of Canadians had gone to Wichita for school, and George at the time was by far the best bowler in Canada. So my first team trials, I see him for the first time and watching him bowl, and I made our team trials. There's a cut to the top 18 after 3 days of qualifying, and so we're bowling that in the top 18. And I think at the time he's leading by probably at least 200 pins, but I think it's closer to 300. It's a total pinfall thing, and we moved to a new pair, and so it's match play round robin style. So we moved to a new pair. We're bowling each other on a kind of a long pattern, and he throws one shot from in and splits, gets the count, goes to the other lane, moves to the gutter for I don't know what reason, and strikes out for 279. And that was my first memory of George in real life. When I saw that, and obviously with the goals that I had to go out on tour, I just thought Wichita's the place I got to be. If he's one of the best in Canada, he went to Wichita, so I just made the connection and just thought it just makes sense for me to go there. And then obviously Bufa had come here, and so Carolyn, his wife, a couple of other Canadians were here, so started talking to them and got in touch with the school, and yeah, so George is probably the reason why I'm here.
Well, it turns out it is a pretty good place to go if you want to go on tour.
Works out pretty well for a couple guys, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of a guy who didn't do that, didn't know he was that big time with all this we talk. The Canadians, I didn't know you were a part owner. Yeah.
Yeah.
If the PBA had a similar PGA live type situation, would you consider bowling on the outside circuit or on the other circuit outside of US?
I'd consider it. Yeah, certainly. Considering it doesn't mean I would do it, but I would certainly consider it. It's tough, right? Like, it's hard to put ourselves in that situation because we aren't in that situation. I don't know how anybody would respond.
Yeah. My situation is different than yours because I'm at a different stage in my career.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're not really going. I mean, they travel outside the U.S. occasionally, but part of the tour is in the U.S., so it's not like he has to go live in Saudi Arabia to play. But for generational type money like these guys are talking about, I don't think it's. I think I would. It's not like you're contributing money to an entity that you're not a fan of. You're taking money from. And
yeah, I certainly wouldn't. Whether I did it or not, I certainly wouldn't criticize anyone's choice to do it. Just like with those golfers. I mean, we're talking vastly different tax brackets, obviously, but still, they've got their expenses, we've got ours, and if they have an opportunity to make more money and use that to live their lives and support their families.
Yeah, I don't think much taking an opportunity to guarantee legacy type money.
Yeah.
Set up their family for that's not just your life. That's taking care of a lot of different people. And so
Yeah.
at least
Anytime,
with that type money, but I
I
don't.
think anytime you're talking life-changing money, I think people would be lying if they told you they wouldn't even consider that.
Yeah, people go work for companies all the time and take big time money to go to a situation that may not be as comfortable, but they do it to try and get ahead for a little while. I don't think we've tried to make it into something it's really not. There may be other agendas there, from the live side that I'm not aware of. And if those come to light, at that point, I imagine you'll start seeing defections on the other side.
Yeah, obviously. So that's why I think, I would consider it. There's some things that would keep me away, but financially, if those are the same kind of situations where you're talking life-changing money, it's hard to turn that down if the drawbacks or if the downsides aren't that extreme.
We had a mini of that with Ultimate Grips, sort of. People had been Bison Turbo for a long time, and then there was a lot of defections that left just for the money to go to Ultimate for a hot minute. And some guys made 10 years worth of salary in a year.
Yeah.
And it turned out everybody lived. There's some people that weren't happy for a little while, but so moving along. So you start with pin up and transition pin down. No. Pin down will hook sooner, and when that transition happens, it happens because there's hook in the front. And so typically you start with pin down and then move to pin up so you can move further left in the lane. Stu says Google Canadien with an E and thank me later for educating you. I will not thank him. That's not what we do here. Tell him to hurry up and drive. So many ball options right now. Suggestions on a ball for 300 rev rate, slower speed, 15 between the RSD X2 and the burner. It's a little bit of a tighter slot, but you do have a really clean cover with a big core, and then you have a cover that's a relatively low end cover with a smaller one. What do you think? Something in the hustle line?
Yeah, could be in the hustle line. I'm thinking another symmetric pearl, but a stronger one, a bigger core than the burner, just because the X2 is ASIM. So I think that would a symmetric pearl in there, like a Zen or something like that. I would say would fit in between those two.
I have a Zen above that as being a little earlier. Pearl IQ. There's not one out currently. Maybe the Night Road.
Yeah,
that would probably be in between there as far as something that's a higher RG, but a little more cover than the burner, and longer core wise than the RSTX2.
Yeah, maybe that Phase 5 that's about to come out.
I think that's going to be stronger as well than there are.
Stronger.
X2 hooks quite a bit for you, I guess. So,
for me, it does. Yeah, I don't use it a whole lot. We have so many options in that area, in those strong ASIM pearls. We have so many options. I don't use the X2 that much.
Pros target the arrows. I think a lot of them do, but you see a little everything, don't you?
Yeah.
Some guys target pretty far down the lane. Some guys, I'm not sure if they look at a target at all.
Yeah.
And obviously you have several that look down at the foul line, at least at the very end. Interesting. I can't figure out how to do it, but
yeah, me neither.
Do you think Sean will ever warm up to urethane?
I don't know. I've seen him use it. It's not very often. Yeah, I don't know. Personal preference for him.
Yeah.
I think if he thought that he'd have a better look with urethane than what he can have with reactive, he would use it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's boycotting the urethane and hurting himself in the process.
Yeah. I believe that Sean is able to control ball motion with his hand. And that's largely what urethane does for guys with a lot of axis rotation. And so between that and the higher your rev rate is, the higher that smooth ball carry percentage becomes.
Hmm.
He's on the lower end of both of those things on the tour, not compared to the real world, but and
Yeah.
so it's very rarely a better reaction for him. And so I think that looks into it. So how much do you look at what lane conditioner is being used? It turns out these days often. And why is terrain your favorite?
I think he's talking to you there.
Yeah. Terrain is basically mud. I have never seen a lane conditioner I like less than that. I think the marketing for that should be how to make your lane surface look like Guardian. That's basically what that
Yeah.
conditioner does. It hooks early, it carries down, it makes the back lane play tight. The lower your rev rate is, the earlier your ball hooks. It's super favorable to guys with a lot of rev rate. And so on the senior tour, I like it a lot, and on the regular tour, I don't like it at all.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Somebody asked if you can still get lens. You can still get some lens, but they're trickier to find and mostly older. There you go. More pressure. Depending on what kind of shape you're in, that can be a fact.
Yeah, it depends on the people.
I think Stu would
That's
rather
why
pay $100. So
Yeah, whatever it is that's going to make you think about it. That's what the bet should be.
somebody wants to know what a pro of your caliber gets out of a team session at, assuming a training session at Kegel Training Center.
Yeah, Team Canada just went there in June, I think it was, for our training camp. That was the first time. We've got some funding from Sport Canada that was allocated to training, so they were able to make it work. That's something I know that the high performance committee at Team Canada were trying to make happen for a few years. So it was good. It was really good. For me personally, practicing here at Wichita State, we've got some video delay systems, and they've got CATs also. They've got Specto, I mean. So I've worked with some of those things before. The coaches here have always been pretty good too. So for the rest of the team, we had a lot of guys that don't necessarily have a coach, let alone high caliber coaches like Dell and the team that was there. So it was really beneficial. The fact that the nicest thing I thought there was we played around with their topography because they have the ability to change the
Yeah.
So that was to me the nicest thing there. Just seeing, being able to train and see in real time what a change in topography does to the same pattern. So that was pretty cool. And then obviously we, anytime we're able to get all of Team Canada together, we're kind of like the U.S. We're a big country, so it's hard to all get together. So anytime we can practice together, I think that's beneficial for sure.
We're about 10 minutes into the comments. I'll try and catch up just a touch. But Stu having fun in the comments. He says Bill Rowe is the Canadian GOAT.
Billy Rowe. He had a good run at a couple of 50 stops, did he?
Yeah, Billy was good before, basically before you were born.
Well, no, I know that. I just meant over the summer.
But his back's
bowled
pretty beat up, so he can't really bowl a lot.
Yeah.
When he did bowl, he did not struggle much. He's still, the lines are still straight. He's got a lot of things like you, like George, like Dan McClellan. His fundamentals are super solid, and he was a high rev rate player before a lot of them was. He was a megabuck killer. Bowled on tour for a minute, but didn't stay out there very long. Went around the world as coach now and is back in Canada, and then coming down to bowl some tournaments. And when he does, he makes the finals every time. He never misses. So
yeah.
Let's see.
It's like he took over Steelsmith when Steelsmith stopped bowling, because that's what Steelsmith used to do. He'd never bowl and then go out to the senior masters and make the show, or go out to USBCs and make top 10.
Oh, look who's back. It's Beef.
How we doing, fellas?
Doing well.
Good.
Just to promote this, my wife, it was her birthday yesterday. She says she's still accepting birthday gifts. Send her a PM for more details. So,
what possibly more could she want than you?
I mean, it's a birthday every fucking day.
She's already outkicked her coverage by so far. How could she possibly still be asking for more?
So I do have to apologize to AJ. He's probably not listening anymore. As I was driving back from the airport, I misread his post. I thought he was having a go at me calling Frankie a Canadien in the post.
Okay.
So that's why I said to him, why don't you Google what a Canadian is? And thank me for it later.
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck AJ.
So misunderstood that, but fuck.
What's that? Go ahead, Frankie. Sorry.
Misunderstood that, but fuck him.
Still
He
your
deserved
fault.
it.
Yeah.
How you stand close to the foul line than most other pros? How did you find your starting position?
Just before you answer that, Frank, he's 4'6". Of course, he stands nearer to the fucking foul line than everybody else.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Only Stephanie Zavala can take 4 steps from the back of the approach with my height. Yeah, I don't know how she does it.
I'm surprised she doesn't carry like a brick that she can put behind the approach so that her heels don't dangle off. She's always looking for extra approach.
For me, it's just about using my legs better. I used to be further back, and it was harder to keep my legs under me. Just more movement, so I've made it more compact, and I can still accelerate, but it's easier to keep my legs under me.
Hi, Tina.
Sorry, we can get back to what we were doing.
Okay, tell the real George story now.
There's a couple world championships in 2013 in Vegas. We had a minivan rented for the team, and George was the driver, and so I'm sure he's learned some things from the older generation of Chris and Mika probably, but we were going too fast to be using the first and second gears, let's say, in the minivan there. Try to go as fast as you can without not in drive, but in the other ones.
The manual mode.
The manual mode. What else? Braking with the emergency brake instead of the regular foot brake at a red light. Yeah, and since that time, this is why you never buy a used rental car.
I didn't know either until John Gaines said he broke me in on that one a long time.
I learned something that week. Yeah.
What are the requirements to bowl in a PBA 50 tournament? He's over 50. That's a great start. And then the entry fees are the other requirement. Name shirts, pants, same as most tournaments these days. But that's pretty much it. You're talking about legacy. Your personal legacy versus money, legacy money.
Utter bollocks.
Yeah.
Like the PGA Tour is trying to make it sound like before Liv came around that anybody give a shit how many times people had won on the regular PGA Tour. Nobody cares. Like they never mentioned it. Now suddenly they want to tell you, oh, this guy's won 19 times on the PGA Tour. They never said that before. They didn't care. The only thing in golf that matters is the majors. And if the Liv guys can still play in the majors, nobody's going to care. It's like, God, I'm so sick of the PGA Tour.
Charlie Tapp, at our age, it's dead versus live.
That's pretty funny.
The European Tour started back up. I believe some of them have. The Lucky Larson was recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Norwegian Open was on as well a couple of weeks ago.
Some of the smaller EBTs have been going on now, right?
Yeah. I was talking to Mr. San Marino, and he was talking about maybe trying to get his tournament back going again. That's one that me and Frankie had a good time there.
Yeah, San Marino's a good time. Great place.
Frankie ended up needing a jacket from the Lost and Found, and the only thing we found was a lady's puffer jacket for him.
It fit.
All the kids took their jackets home with them.
Well, when you win the tournament, sometimes
do what you want.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, and things maybe get out of hand from time to time.
That night did get out of hand, especially when Martin was about to leave, and I set a champagne cork up straight into his ass, so he had a huge wet patch right where his ass was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Good times. I've been drunk in that bar a couple of times. Yeah. There we go. Somebody's going to bring some of it to it. I think that this was in relation to the ball that you were talking about fitting below the X2.
X2, yeah.
I'm only bringing this comment up because I want to fig jam myself. I polished it up, shot 788 with it last night.
Dark Moss.
Thank you. Professional league bowler in town.
But
Tuesday nights don't go as well for me. So we bowl. It's me and Maria and Nathan and Tina and then another guy, Dalton. And they changed the league rules now. So you have to go in order of average for the team order. So that humbled me real quick because Nathan's averaging about 10 pins a game more than me. So I was immediately pushed up into the 4-hole, which was fine. Whatever. Well, after 3 weeks, Nathan isn't here this week. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'll go anchor. Nope. Tina Marie is 3 pins on totals ahead of me. And I don't think I'm going to get away with the fact that we both averaged 229. So Tina is going to claim that anchor spot tonight. So if Nathan had got back from Wichita, I'd be in the 3-hole.
Yikes.
I don't know that I want the handicap smoke in the 3-hole.
Yeah. Well, last year about this, you have to have 9 games to reset your average for the new year. And Alan almost had me come in and sub with their team for 1 game, even though they didn't need me, just so Chapman could bowl leadoff for a game.
It's Alan's birthday tomorrow, as he told you.
No.
Yeah.
It makes no impact on what he's getting. So I think he probably saved that for people.
I mean, he's Beef and Barnzy's biggest fan. He's on here permanently.
He missed last week. I don't even know what he's talking about. I think he pulled his whatever muscle that is south of your belly button, I think. This week. He wasn't moving very good yesterday.
Sounds like you need a proton physics gem, supernova, reality, any of those.
One of the big ones.
One of the big ones. She's not cleaning that. I don't even remember what we're talking about anymore. So.
Yeah, you're about what? Oh, you're only 8 minutes behind.
No, we've caught up a little, but yeah, we were behind. Brady's in the 7th percentile of height for 6-year-olds and almost caught up with Frankie. Wow, the giant Tina coming in off the top rope from 411.
Yeah, I have been working out. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's a chance I might have to go up to a small from an extra small, so Brady can have the old clothes.
Yeah, we were talking because there was a workout with your kid at school this morning at 7:00, and Brady
That's why I couldn't make the show.
Brady was easy. Yeah, I was recovering from it. No, I was taking my parents to the airport, but Brady was easily the smallest kid there, and I go, he might be the smallest kid in the whole school.
Yeah, the wives are on it today. That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, my mom asked to keep the F word out of your mouth just a little bit.
Okay.
No,
Fair enough.
What else going on? How was the Swiss? Swiss is a big tournament in Wichita. Trios. Position of Swiss is I don't know how it became an acronym for position around every game, but it is.
Also known as the world's most frustrating format.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult format to be the best team and win consistently.
Yeah, it can be. So yeah, the Swiss, it's good. Yeah, total pinfall doesn't matter except to break ties on the win-loss record. So there's 3 players. You bowl a game across for each player, and then 2 points for the team game. So 5 points a game. We bowled 12 games, 6 on Saturday, 6 on Sunday, and position around every game. So there's a wait in between every game. They reseed all the teams, moving the championship pair 1 pair to the left every time. And yeah, we won. I bowled with Will Barnes, no relation to the brains of this operation. I knew I'd get a reaction from Stu on that.
What was that look again?
Callahan told me that.
I bowled with Will Barnes. We won the tournament, and it's funny, we didn't have a third bowler until earlier in the week. We were looking and looking.
I honestly thought you were just going to say we didn't have a third bowler.
No. We ended up finding a player. I think he bowled with Will last year, but he wasn't available till last minute, and we needed someone. So
what are the rules for that one?
Sorry?
What are the rules for that one? As a PBA champion, could you have another champion or anything?
You could have 3 PBA members if you wanted, as long as nobody had won a title. But because I had a title, there couldn't be any other PBA members on my team.
Okay.
It was Will's team. Will was the team captain. It wasn't my team.
I'll be honest, that rule is right up there with, we have a 640 cap, but if you have a woman, no matter how good she is, there's no cap.
Yeah.
So when we bowl in San Antonio, like Jovan must average close to 240 herself. So she's the entirety of the cap, and because you bowl with her, you don't have a cap. Yeah, that makes sense. So this team has Jovan, who's one of the best bowlers in the building, period, male or female. That their enter average is like 735. Then this other team of 3 guys who all average less than Jovan can only be 640.
Yeah. We had so our team obviously can't have another PBA member, but one of the teams there was Anthony Lavery, AJ Chapman, and Nick Pate, because none of them have a title. So I mean, yeah.
All right.
I mean, I just find it funny. It's obviously not affected entries, so who cares? I just think it's funny.
Yeah,
I did look at the standings. It's one of the few times in a Swiss that I saw a lot of the pre-favorites all ended up at the top, which almost never happens.
Yeah. It's a tough tournament because the match play thing, right? It gives everyone a better chance.
Well, the good teams bowl each other all the time, so you just can't win.
Yeah, exactly. We were fortunate enough. We had one game where we got swept, but every other game in the tournament we got at least 4 out of the 5 points. That was pretty. Yeah, we ended up with I think 48-12. I think was our record at the end.
Insane.
That's
pretty high. The big swing was early on Sunday because on the first day Packy crushed it.
I was about to ask you about that. Did he bowl right-handed the second day?
It almost looked like he might have. Packy did really well, and Brent did really well, and they bowled with Sammy Calderon, a guy local from Wichita, was a freshman at Wichita State. So they did really, really well on Saturday, and they swept us game 5 on Saturday. They were the team that swept us. And on Sunday, because of how it worked out, we bowled them games 2 and 3 because they had a big lead. And when we bowled them in game 2, we took all 5 from them. So they remained in first, while we moved to second. We bowled them again, and we took 4 that second game also. So we got 9 out of them in 2 games. And I think that was probably the big swing that it put us in first, and then we stayed there after that.
we talk about that a lot. We bowled the same team 3 games running when we bowled that format the other day. It's kind of it's kind of annoying at that point when you just and then you go from first and you're playing the second best team in the building, and then you can go from first to sixth in like 2 games, and you're just like, but we still knocked over more than all of the teams behind us.
Yeah,
well, that's what Ryan's team, I guess, did. They were in second behind you guys, and you thumped them, and they went back there to 4th or 5th, and they swept again, and then got back up to second, and then you thumped them again, and they went back to 7th.
Yeah, that was a tough one for them. I think it was game 4, and they shot. We bowled on a good pair. That's another thing that's tough about that tournament is you're moving pairs all the time. Like on Sunday, we were just moving one left because we ended up in first place after the second game. But I mean, in other times you're just going back and forth between pairs, and there's no real way to scout the pairs you're going to because you don't really know where you'll end up, and so it's kind of tough to play pair to pair like that. But that game we bowled them. The scores weren't that high. The pattern I thought was pretty good this year, pretty fair. And
the guy who wins the tournament goes, "Yeah, I thought the pattern was pretty fair."
Yeah, Stu says the snowman is the only way to do the lanes.
Listen, I thought it was pretty good. There was some talk from the lefties about how walled the right side was, but then the righties would say the same when the lefties would throw it out the window and hit the pocket. So that game though, we bowled Ryan's team and they had 680, which was a really good game, and they got 1 point, I think. So that was a tough one for them.
I also find that format's really difficult for brackets. Because if your team isn't bowling very well, you get doubly punished because you're moving around all over the bowling center. And in most places, like areas of the bowling center are like, usually like somewhat kind of similar. So like you might move, like it happens a lot at the Saspa one we bowl, there's a split house.
Yeah.
So there's like, if you go from one side to the other, it doesn't really matter which side you like better or worse. It's just, it isn't even remotely close.
Different. Yeah.
So like if you bowl like game 1 over here, game 2 over there, and game 3 back over there, it's kind of hard to bowl a decent bracket set at that point.
Yeah, the brackets are tough. Like, so we won the tournament, and I think I ended the weekend about $100 down in brackets.
Yeah. Lefty saying the right was walled. What? Chris, your thoughts? I've heard of it. I'm sure it'll be a pick-up call on Planet this weekend.
Let me, I was about to say, let me translate that. Lefty saying the right were walled. That's what's called fair.
Yeah.
We were bowling on somewhat the same thing, so the lefty thought the right side was walled.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. If Eric Jones, Packy, and Dio aren't all in the top 5 in Planet this weekend, then that would be a first. So
well, it's fine. I'm not going, so I hope they do. Screw you guys.
Hi, Tony.
House ownership 101. I had to go into my emergency fund, and it's already done. We're way past estimates. We've got patched up holes outside.
There you go. Craig, a regular contributor here, talked about dropping from 16 to 15. Some of us have. Some of us have played with it. Some of us have never been to 16.
I'm not one that's played around with that. If anything, I'm considering going to 14.
Okay, Bill.
waiting on the bill evidence to make the transfer.
We'll see what Bill
likes
does.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you guys should just ask all the women.
I mean, Brianna Cote went from being a good bowler to being the best bowler on the women's tour. So,
yeah,
I mean,
true.
You
might need a couple of extra shelves on the truck then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Jim's just going to be just ecstatic if you call him and say, "I'm throwing 14." Jim goes, "Cute for you. Find some space in your car to take them."
Yeah.
I think 2 or 3 of you should ask.
At least find some 15 zeros to stock.
I was actually talking to Steve about that club kid, and he said that his wife had gone to using really light 15s, and I go, now that's privilege for you. Steve walks around the plant looking for all the really light ones for her.
Yeah.
the shelves that they have with the balls that aren't quite the right spec. Oh, there's a 14-13 over there. I'll take that one.
Yeah. It's like I get a shipment from Storm, and I ordered a Proton Physics that was 15.4. I thought, that's fine. I can play straight with that. And then the Night Road was like 15.0. I'm like, yeah, I can loft that. That makes sense.
So have you drilled any of those yet?
I did drill the Night Road. I was planning on, it was in my bag this weekend. I didn't need to use it in the end.
Okay.
So I haven't used the Night Road. I used the Supernova a little bit. I shined it. It's pretty forward, pretty controllable. What else? There's another one that I drilled.
Supernova.
Night
Road.
Road.
Did you drill the Wolverine?
The Dark Moss, yeah. I drilled the Dark Moss and the Reality Check. I'm a fan of the Reality Check, definitely.
Thought you might be.
The Dark Moss, I tried a different layout on it, and it kind of got forward for me, so I might try another one with a regular layout.
Did you shine it?
Not yet. It was still at 14.
I think we as the Beef and Barnzy channel haven't really been super friendly with the 4K fast. But for me, on the Night Road, I think it matches up really well. And I thought about, I didn't think about it. I thought this would make sense on the Dark Moss. So I did the same layout on the Dark Moss, and I didn't like it at all. And I shined the Dark Moss yesterday, and then I used it, and it was back to being in the gap I thought it should be.
Yeah.
My life. Lavoie, can you define forward for us?
It's when the ball doesn't hook and go towards the 7-pin. It hooks and deflects off the pocket into the 9-pin.
So rolls early with less angle.
So basically, every single time someone's had a messenger ever.
Yeah.
I mean, the people coming at me yesterday when I posted a video of a messenger with the Supernova and a messenger with the Proton, and the messenger with the Proton is like one of the coolest messengers ever thrown by a one-hander. And the guy goes, "Oh, I hate that reaction. The Proton's a turd." And I go, "You're looking at that shot and that's your takeaway from it?"
Yeah.
Like, really? People are so hateful.
Going back to this, really 15 RGs tend to be a little higher. So with friction on the lane, they tend to be a little bit more angular. I guess if there's one advantage to 15, those are the balls that are made for the public and designed for the public. So 16s tend to be a little bit lower RG.
Would you say? I think there's just more range in 15 than there is in 16. The 16-pound balls are a little closer together because just the way the cores are and how to make the weight. So, the balls are at the higher RG are higher, but everything's like compacted a little bit more with 16. I feel like.
Stu throws 16. Frankie and I throw 15 now. I've been doing that for about a year. Here's a good one. What non-winner on tour?
AJ Johnson.
Huh? AJ
Johnson.
The third year in a row, AJ Johnson.
He'll win sometime.
Are we talking breakout like acne or what?
Yeah. Hey, Martin Larson just called and said thank you for him aging out of this category.
Oh shit! Oh, I can't love this whole debate enough. Because it's just, I mean,
Nick Pate, Packy.
It's so hard to like define a breakout. To me, a breakout is like somebody you've never heard of or barely see or whatever comes out and suddenly bowls significantly better. Like Packy and AJ and Nick Pate were all in the top 20 or top 25. So does them winning really change your, like, if AJ wins,
better.
Yeah, it makes them feel better. But does my opinion change of what type of bowler AJ is if he wins an event at the World Series? Of course it doesn't.
Yeah, you're right.
It stops me being able to give him a hard time.
so you're actually more mad about it than happy for him?
Yeah, but I mean, I won't go, oh my God, AJ's won finally. What? Oh my God, AJ's a player. I'm not going to, like, I already think he's a good bowler.
The league does kind of tell you what the players think about certain guys, titles or not titles.
Mm-hmm.
And John Serbinsky got drafted every year and was a good part of good teams every year, despite never have won and very few shows. Martin Larson's been a key to several teams that have won or been very close to winning on a regular basis. His teams always play well.
He won high average on the Thursday night league.
No, I think Ryan Bard snapped him off.
He's not even high average in his house.
Yeah.
Well, Packy won the PBA league twice.
And he won the shootout or strike. Would he win the?
No, he was in the final, I think.
The final. That's right. Yeah.
Of which one? Oh no, yeah, he won that
Lost to Jake,
All-Star Clash.
Clash.
He was in the final of that All-Star Clash.
Yeah.
He lost to Jake Peters, who threw the most 7 counts ever to win that event.
Yeah.
Just some of them struck.
Regina says she needs to chat with Tina about some of her phase. She's seeing a lot more hook out of the 14s, getting her nosebleed. She's never stood left of the big dot. It's got to be weird staying in the same dot as your husband every single tournament.
Just, Regina, just throw it harder.
Yeah.
The main key that I've seen to the 14s for Tina is she has to get it rolling. If she ends up floating it to the spot, it flat tens every single time.
Yeah, that's what Simonson said with that fast pitch in Lubbock.
Yeah, Simo drilled a 14-pound fast pitch because he's a psychopath.
He goes. You just have to make sure it gets rolling the right way, because obviously it tends to deflect more. And he goes, and this is how I know he grew up in a bowling center. He goes, it's like when you bowl action with those light pound house balls. And I'm no, I don't know what that's like.
Complete bowling alley rat.
You just have to make sure they get rolling. I mean, it makes sense, but I have no experience with that.
Yeah, he's just bowled 2 a.m. pot games. Plano was 24-hour center for a long time. Got 10 years on Chris, and I'm moving to 40. Congratulations on being up to date with technology. 10 years older than me. So just see.
He did not.
That hurts. Sorry.
No problem.
Which one would you?
Oh, it doesn't matter. They were saying, didn't Packy win something? I said,
yeah. No, I just. Why did John? He went to concentrate on family. He's got they got a kid now, and he just had enough of chasing the tour around and the lifestyle. To be honest, the lifestyle was never really his favorite.
Fun story. We were on the plane, and you know how you have to wear masks and everything. Like last year when we were on the plane, we were going to Aruba, and honestly, we were so convinced that Sabinsky's wife was on the plane, but with a different guy. And I'm like, oh my God, is that Christina? And she kept walking past us, and I'm like, she's looking into my soul. It's definitely her. And she was honestly, Tina ended up showing this lady a picture of Christina because it was 100% her doppelganger. And I'm like, have they had another kid? Her and John still together? It was unbelievable how much this woman looked like her. And then, of course, on top of that, she was wearing a mask. And then we saw her without the mask on, and we're like, because they were in the same resort. And I'm like, it still looks like her. Yeah.
It's 2 kids.
He has 2 kids now.
Yeah. One of the nicest guys around, and probably happier to not be on tour than he was on tour.
What's up, Kenny?
Hey, Kenny. Gaines just needs you. Oh yeah, they have been for a while. So, but that's a different John. So, once he dislocated that kneecap, that was ugly. It's been pretty bad.
So, are you both
2 league titles is still 2 more than AJ?
Well, didn't AJ win the PBA league with you?
And I believe he did. So it's just 1 more. So
One more.
Yeah.
And AJ definitely has more regionals than Packy.
Yeah. Well, you have to actually bowl regionals.
Well, Packy won a couple.
Packy,
don't encourage him.
To be a professional bowler, You have to actually bowl in professional tournaments. The Kansas City Sweeper is not how you get better at being a professional.
Well, he's going to have to bowl Oklahoma. Oh no, because he's got the 100-mile bitch rule, doesn't he? He doesn't have the 500-mile rule.
Oh yeah, he'll probably find a sweeper in Salina to bowl or something. Instead of going to bowl there and then have some excuse for it.
So you both going to Oklahoma?
Yes,
I am. I signed up. Yeah.
God
We're
bless.
professional bowlers do. That's what we do.
Yeah, I'm a professional
Yeah,
bowler.
right.
Also, I run a business.
Yeah.
Tina is not a business. It's not nice to refer to her that way.
Like I say, I run a business. And I've evaluated that the only place in Oklahoma that I should go to bowl is Shawnee. None of the rest of the places. I've got enough data to prove it. I went to Fort Sill twice, missed the cut twice. I've been to, I've bowled in Planet, I think once, missed the cut.
You bowled there twice. You bowled with Pete Thomas.
Yeah, but that wasn't a regional. And I won.
There. All right.
Pete Thomas, GOAT. The best guy with a rev rate less than 150 to ever live.
Yeah.
He's the only guy with a rev rate that compares to Wesley Lowe's spare ball.
But he says he's banging on it.
Yeah, he says a lot of things. I don't know.
I tell you what, though, Pete is a brawler. Like, he's in for the fight. There ain't no quit.
Somebody wants to know what pitches Frankie uses.
God, you don't want to know.
Oh boy. Are we getting into this? Quarter left,
That's why I asked.
quarter left, quarter reverse on the thumb, and the middle finger is a quarter reverse, 5/16 left, and the ring finger is a quarter right.
With no reverse.
No reverse.
All right.
It's like his grip is the equivalent of a 5-year-old's painting.
Yeah.
I wrote down random numbers and I just went,
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. My mom's proud. She'll put it on the fridge, but everyone else knows it's trash.
The less hook, the better, as far as Frankie's concerned. Because he's getting no hook regardless. So this year he took away everybody's hook, and Frankie was like, "Man, these are so much easier now."
Anything above 43 feet or like 29 mils, I can't hook the ball, so might as well make it 55 and 60 mils.
Say you've grown up on a freshly stripped lane your whole life, without saying
That's pretty good, Brian. I like it.
I got to cross with Brian this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he was a little nervous bowling with you. By the end, he was just trying to stay out your way. I go.
If I stand out of my way, I meant switching to a purple hammer at game 5. Thanks. He didn't bowl better after he did it, though, so I couldn't blame him.
That's true. He might.
What is that? A mixed Scotch sweeper? Doubles? What is that?
It's I forget what they call it. There's a summer league that's like a bowl as you bowl whenever you want type league, and I think it qualifies you for that tournament. I forget what they call it.
Okay.
But
see, what's the saddest part of this? Like, I'll be honest. What is the saddest part of this? The fact that he's going to do that, or the fact that it's financially more viable?
Yeah, I don't know.
Please don't report me. I'm just putting it out there.
A quick answer to this question: none if you're two-handed, but otherwise tremendously important.
Yeah.
The
Joma
Joma
challenge. That's what it's called.
Does that still exist now that it's not Joma doesn't exist anymore?
They're doing it now. I don't know moving forward what's going to happen, but yeah, it's still happening this year.
How do you listen to this show and think I'm the one who has it out for Packy? I mean, we did throw 300 against him on his channel.
Yeah, true. But
we just like giving him a hard time. We don't have it out for him. God. What you say now? If you're a Trump fan, you just yell snowflakes? I don't know. Just let me know in the comments.
I yell at Packy because I care and because lefties have been dominating the regionals for the last 3 years, and he just keeps going elsewhere to avoid winning every regional, which I'm perfectly happy with. But
the thing is to me, it doesn't really make any difference. I don't really care if I lose to him or Eric Jones.
Yeah, but the point is, if only one of them two is there, it moves me up from 5th to 4th.
Again, though, it doesn't really change the prize fund.
No.
yeah, it's fine. So
that's a question I had for you. You're a little bit ahead of me on the Bolero transition of your home house. How's that going?
Yeah, I think it's all right. They actually haven't. They shut down for a week or two in the summer, but all they really did was change the points of sale and stuff like that. They didn't really do the typical renovations to make it look like a Bolero center. I don't know if they're planning on doing that later on at some point.
That's kind of the same as they did down here at Mel's.
Yeah. So the only thing that's different now visually, at least, is, like I said, the points of sale look different, and they changed the trash cans and just minimal things. There's not they haven't changed the masking unit or.
I was about to say, did they change the name?
The name, yes. So I guess it's Bolero North Rock.
Right. Yeah, they didn't even change the name at Mel's. So it's still Mel's Lone Star Lanes.
The sign outside the building, though, still says North Rock Lanes. So, I guess technically it's Bolero North Rock, but I think it's still North Rock Lanes.
Okay.
So yeah, they've only done those changes. They changed the AJ's Sports Bar that was in there. Now is a Bolero restaurant. So they've got the Bolero menu with Bolero food. But yeah, no major changes. Like it doesn't look like all the other Bolero centers yet.
Yeah, no, it seems like that they've I mean, a lot of the changes at Mel's, like some of the people have been quite happy about. And then I mean, some of it, I mean, people are just gonna moan. So I mean,
yeah,
I feel like some of the like
people have been moaning about the pricing and stuff, but really, I think if you're a league bowler, if you want to go practice there, that's not so bad. I don't think.
No,
the premium pricing for open bowlers that come in on a Saturday night, yeah, that's more expensive. But at the same time, like, bowling centers don't make that much money because their prices are too low. So
yeah.
Shaggy, yeah, that is Packy. Okay, I didn't know that. I knew they were talking about stuff. I didn't know they were going to do that. But yeah, they haven't used the snack bar at all. The snack bar
really
no, they haven't used it at all. The snack bar that's like by the entrance behind 11 and 12 or something. So I think that's probably the plan. I didn't know they were going to put in pool tables there. Okay.
It doesn't really make sense to have a restaurant and a snack bar.
Right. Yeah.
It's
because now they've incorporated everything. Before that, AJ's was its own entity. It wasn't really with North Rock, so North Rock had their own snack bar. But now that they've integrated everything, they're going to get rid of the snack bar.
Is the card shop still there, or is he getting to?
Yeah, it's still there. I don't think there's any plans for now to kick him out. I think they might let him be there. I think he's pretty popular in the community.
Rocco's a good dude. He used to be in the basement of Rose Bowl East for a decade or more, 15 years or more.
Is that in Wichita also?
Yeah, well, it used to be. It was above ground ball returns. That's where one of the best scratch leagues was back 30 years ago. Now it's a car dealership next to Honda, I think. But
hey, Frankie, that's the next one we need to get Skillins into. Hand oil lanes above ground ball returns. Get some.
So people have to shoot the 10-pin from a different spot that they're used to.
Yeah. That is one of my bugbears of all bugbears. Well, the approaches are really sticky in the corners. Okay. But that's where I shoot the 10-pin. Okay. So
is your ball going straight?
Why don't you just move? Well, no, but I shoot the 10-pin from there. Yeah, I get that. But the approaches are bad there. So why do you keep sticking, missing, and blaming the approach? Just move.
There's that.
You get to see that, and you'll get to see that, I can guarantee, at the US Open, because the approaches in Indy are close to the worst ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything about their bowling center is awesome. The corners of the approaches there, and we don't even bowl when it's bad. Remember when we went down for the junior gold?
Summer, it's awful.
Oh my God, it was like break your neck every shot.
Now, the real question with AJ's, real quick, did they change the pizza?
Yeah, so they use their own crust. Bolero supplies their own crust, so that's what. And I think probably all the ingredients have changed, but yeah, it has changed a little bit.
All right.
I felt like that was really overrated anyway. I don't know what they've done with the pizza at Mel's because I'm a pizza snob. So the chance of me eating bowling center pizza wasn't that high.
If it's not a 7.8 or better on the Davy Day Trade scale.
And to be fair, the pizza at AJ's might have been more of a recollection back to the college days and all the time when we spent there.
Yeah,
but I always thought the pizza that was the best bowling center pizza.
They did keep the Superdome size though. That's one thing they've kept. They adapt the menu a little bit to the local market, and they kept the Superdome size.
All right. Well, where's that at, Steven? That's basically how North Rock got to be this way as well. So they own 6 centers, and three of them now.
We might know a buyer.
Huh?
We might know a buyer.
Maybe. Well, we are at an hour 15 here. So
looking fresh, Frankie. Fresh.
Thank you.
Because you've been working out.
Something like that.
Ooh. Next, you're going to tell me that Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. Ooh, that's a good question.
The worst topography.
I feel bad about calling places out, but screw it. I mean, for me, the one that comes to mind is Thousand Oaks. That place looks like a bomb went off underneath the lane.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not even pair to pair. It's just lane to lane. It's absolutely impossible. I've heard they're quite flat now.
Yeah. No more lanes there.
Not a bad call here, though.
Just the first 6 lanes at Gold Coast.
Yeah.
They run the BTM there. You draw lane 1. You're just like, well, I'm screwed.
Samstown's interesting as well. It's been around for a minute.
The only good thing about Samstown is if you clip the head pin, there's like a 70% chance it's going to strike anyway because the pins fly everywhere at Samstown.
I think I have at least a contender, if not the winner, though.
Where's that?
The National Bowling Stadium.
Oh, that's nowhere near as bad as Thousand Oaks.
Not that. I don't think it's that bad there. But you've bowled a lot more than I have there.
Just depends on which parts of the going across the building. It's not. I mean, if you're left-handed, it's fine.
Wauwatosa was interesting.
Yeah, for a place that wasn't that bad 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to be.
I tell you, a place that was really good. It was just impossible. Was Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have an issue that, oh my God, I was actually hoping the topography was going to be bad. Like, please let this lane not be as difficult as the last one. No, it still doesn't hook from there, and it still hooks when I throw it there. Why was every lane exactly the same?
Yeah, we needed something different. I wanted something different, even if I didn't want it.
Can I catch a break here? I want to bowl a good game. Can I not get one lane that's dished, please?
Yeah.
That one's a tough one. I would say that Fort Sill would be up there, but I don't know that I've actually completed a game on every lane to know. I thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
National Bowling Stadium, low end hooks on the right side, high end near the train station is dead straight. Redo the lanes, and still the same.
Yeah.
When we went for the US Open and the Masters, I didn't find them that bad. I felt like they'd done a pretty good job of.
They are better than they used to be by a mile. But inherently, because you have earthquake-proof buildings and you're on the fourth floor, and now the train station is not. I mean, the train's not nearly as close as it was, but inherently you were going to have issues because you had vibration constantly going on before it. So the big center in Cleveland was pretty good. The one where we used to play the little carnival game. You get the ball to stop like halfway down the lane.
Oh, yeah.
Freeway.
Yeah.
Freeway in Cleveland, yeah. That's where somebody got fined for doing the little spinning ball thing, and it got like 30 feet, and then it came back to 15 feet, and it went back to 25 feet, and then
is that the place that's got like a million lanes? So like you can see someone bowl and you can't hear it.
90 lanes, or was it 96 or 80 something? But it was. I think it's the biggest center left in the U.S. now, and certainly biggest in line in the U.S.
Yeah. Yeah. Wauwatosa was. I don't feel like it was topography though. I feel like it was alignment and sidewalls.
Yeah.
There's a couple of panels got replaced not very well.
It was just that the two board wasn't in the same place on every lane. And it wasn't always in the same place on the same lane.
Yeah.
It didn't have the same longitude.
At 10 feet and at 30 feet, the two board wasn't in the same spot.
It was in a different time zone. Oh God. I just remember bowling on a pattern that wasn't very difficult there. And it was like 256, 172. And I had exactly the same ball reaction on one of the two lanes.
Is that Austin or is it San Antonio?
San Antonio.
I think they might have pulled like the was it the? It's not the Summer Games, but they had Olympic Festival there once upon a time, and it was similar stories. It's not a new issue. So
yeah, it's just like I say, it's just, and I'm not necessarily against those places. It's just when you go there once or twice a year, it's just really difficult to beat the locals.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Tally Bowl had its own issues for sure. The locals knew that joint.
Loved it. It completely ruined it for me when they put the plastic in. Completely ruined it. Like bowling with a guy who's like 100 years old, and you're like, yeah, I noticed that. Yeah. But yeah, 100 years old, and yeah, it's just he just keeps changing ball every time. Like every time you change lane,
Yeah, you just knew.
it just changes ball, and you're just like, why did you just do that?
Yeah, you'll see.
Yeah, I bowl 203 and he bowls 235, and then he changes back.
The Bo Burton thing, yeah. The dark boards down lane. Okay, the dark ones are in the front on this pair. All right, sure. What? Well, Frankie, you got anybody else? Anything you'd like to say or thank here?
No, nothing. No, just thank the sponsors, but you guys have them all, I think. Buddy's Pro Shop, you probably don't have that one. Thanks to Buddy's, Storm, Turbo, Cool Wick.
Very cool. Stu, you got anything? You got your folks off?
I was just trying to see if that was going to help. It didn't. So.
I might have been too far away from the microphone there for a little while. I heard it reverberate through Frankie's,
yeah,
I think, at one point. But
I was hearing it through Stu at one point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my fault, but I don't know why it's my fault.
All right.
I'm going to blame you, Frankie, because you're not usually here. But yeah, we should have some videos going up this week. What's the date today? 27th. So yeah, Friday. We've got Phase 5 videos going up. I beat my wife at fantasy, so she better not be strolling around in that t-shirt. That's set. Oh my god! Just stop. She better not be rolling around in a t-shirt that says "I'm better than my husband at fantasy football." Not right now.
Yeah, she was whining about me winning last week. I had 140 this week. Smashed her again, except I didn't win either. So, you know. Yep. Is she won a game this year? Just asking.
Yeah, she was. I think she was 2-0 going into this week.
Oh, okay.
Tell you, best defense in fantasy football.
Yeah.
Frankie has no real interest in this.
No, not at all. Not at all. But thanks, Frankie, for joining us this morning, and Stu for making some extra efforts to be here. So.
Yeah.
How's your foot?
Sorry?
Derek, he was the guy who had his foot driven over by his mate.
Yeah.
Friend.
All right. Well, join us Thursday as we'll come back with something I'm sure new and interesting and not PG-13 rated. So in between now and then, if you get a choice, please support the sponsors that support us: Storm, Rotogrip, Niner Global, Coolwick, Bowler's Mark, Fire Lake Bowling Center, Lightning Strikes, and Platinum Ford. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.
See you later.